Greetings, Malifaux fans. This is Crazy Carl, back with another Malifaux video battle report. Today I'm bringing you a 30 Soulstone scrap against Chris, who is playing Guild, and myself, who was playing Arcanists. We decided to do something a little bit different, because Chris is going for some achievements in a league we have going, which is, I think, being extended actually a little bit further to the end of December, because we didn't have a whole lot of advertising for the month of November. But we decided to play a game of all 7 Soulstone or higher models, which I didn't know how I was going to do with Ramos until I remembered that you can take Spider Swarms. And I'm like, oh, I'll just take a bunch of Spider Swarms, I'll be fine. But then I wanted to take the Rail Golem, and I think, oh, Kairos will be fun. So I changed up my crew a little bit. So Chris brought along Perdita. He also had the Executioner, which has many different names in our circle, also known as the Executioner or Comfort Food Wolverine, whichever you prefer. And he had a 4 Soulstone cache, taking Kill Protege and my Rail Golem and stake a claim on a building in the center of the board that you saw earlier. He also had the Guardian, Santiago, and then Nino, which will be coming up shortly. We had shared Reconnoiter, which is something I probably should have mentioned earlier. So this is going to be a tough scheme. This is going to be a very tough strategy with us having all very, very expensive models. I think Chris took a pretty good crew for this. The board probably didn't have as much cover as it should have had. And there you see Nino sitting on top of a building, which had a height 1 barricade on top of it effectively. So he's able to shoot over it, which meant he had a clear line of shot to pretty much everything, which was pretty powerful. On the other hand, I brought Ramos, who brought along a Spider Swarm, which I was planning on obviously breaking apart. And then I also had the Rail Golem, and the Rail Golem is a lot of fun. I've been playing with it a lot. I really like it with Ramos because you take the mobile toolkit, and the mobile toolkit can give Ramos and the Rail Golem a tome, which means you can give the Rail Golem a tome, which means he's able to cast Vent Steam on a 7 or higher without having to have the suited tome, which is really, really good. I like that a lot. It's very, very powerful, I think. And then I also brought along Kairos because I was going to have a 6 Soulstone cache, which meant she would be able to do some good damage, but I actually just planned on using her to run objectives, which may have been a tactical error on my part. I, for my part on schemes, had Power Ritual and Sabotage on the building. So I had, Kairos off in one corner and then the rest of the crew on the other corner so they could activate table corners as needed. First turn didn't see much. It was just an advance. Chris moved up his crew, hiding behind some cover, making sure he had nice clear lines of fire. He tried to obey twice with Perdita because he failed both times on Santiago, but it didn't really pan out, and it didn't really matter. I mean, he didn't really want to be moving up too quickly anyway. He was afraid that I guess the Rail Golem would get into him and kill all of his stuff. Nino had a nice line of fire on Kairos, so that's why I was able to fly up with her and then toss out some flame pillars, which you'll see on the top of the building over here, and that blocked off the line of sight because of the heights and all that jazz. So meant next turn I could possibly be in danger, but I don't think he was in range anyway. Nino actually tried to take a shot at, I think, one of my little spiders, because they moved up behind the building here, as you'll see shortly. But they didn't. He was too far out of range. I think he was like 19 or 20 inches away. Rail Golem moved up behind the spiders after the spiders made a move and then broke apart, getting a decent amount of movement and giving me some extra activations this turn, and then a few more on the next turn, which would be really, really good. As it turned out, I ended up not doing much other than activating, just passing with them on turn 2. Turn 2, Chris had moved up his Executioner, and you're going to see here a small pile of scrap counters because the Rail Golem killed off the Executioner, but then died to, I believe, Santiago or Nino cheating in a red Joker on his the damage flip. So that was a dead Rail Golem for me, unfortunately. I believe Chris he hit with his Executioner on his slow to die action, but didn't. I admit I was at full wound, so he wasn't gonna kill me with his, because I was at hard to wound. So maybe did I forget my hard to kill? No, sorry, I didn't forget my hard to kill. He knocked me down to 1 with his attacks, and then killed me off at hard to kill, so not a big deal. You'll see there his crew again just spread out nicely. I hid Kairos behind the building to make sure she wasn't getting hit by Nino. But the game pretty much ended on turn 3. I'm going to spoil it a little bit here. I swarmed together my spiders and moved them up onto the building, hoping to win initiative on turn 4. On turn 3, and I ended up not winning initiative. So that meant that Chris was able to get a nice companion chain off and very easily take out the Spider Swarm. So that left me with Ramos and Kairos, who were on opposite sides of the boards of each other, which wasn't going to do me much good. Bright side was for me, I guess, that I had a bunch of scrap sitting around, as you'll see very shortly, but that scrap wasn't going to do me a lot of good facing down the firepower of Perdita, Nino, and Santiago. So the game was pretty much just wrap up at this point. Chris was trying to position himself to make sure he got his max points on his reconnoiter, and he had a few different moves. He'd moved around a little bit weirdly. He moved towards the building, which was in the center right there. And I wasn't sure why, and then I realized he had a hidden stake of claim. I did the best I could. I was trying to go for my schemes, or my schemes. I moved Karis around the board, trying to, take care of what I could. I got a third table corner, which was good for my power ritual, but Nino is still sitting. He ended up moving down and away because he was afraid of Karis doing much damage to him, but with no Soulstones, it meant that Karis wasn't going to do a lot of damage, especially because Immolate's based on willpower, and my cast 6 to his willpower defending on 8 not going to work out so well in my favor, especially when I have to set the duel total beforehand. So here you can just see Chris is moving his crews around. He's got a really pimpin' Guardian with a cowboy hat and I think it has a mustache as well. I'm not sure. Oh, no, it's his Executioner has a mustache. You can see Nino repositioned himself to try and take out Karis. It ended up not mattering because she was too far away to really affect anything, and I did my best to keep her out of the line of sight because I was trying to keep her alive. If the game went to a turn 7, I mean, you can get lucky, I guess, sometimes with her, especially with turn it up triggers, but I think Chris still had a Soulstone left at that point, so I wasn't going to take out anything I wasn't going to take out Perdita, and his crew is hardy enough that I probably wasn't going to be able to finish them off, especially with a Guardian protecting his key models. So the last couple turns were just me moving around, trying to get to my last table corner, and then maybe trying to get to my sabotage target. Ramos died at some point in here. I don't remember exactly where. It wasn't really super relevant. I think I had a shot maybe of focusing out some electrical fires, but as it ended up, the Guardian got into melee with Ramos, and that was pretty much game over for Ramos because Ramos really can't do anything when something's in melee. Electrical Fire is a really powerful spell, but it's a ranged spell, so you're not going to be able to shoot that out of melee, which is very unfortunate. You can see Nino, again, he just ran away. He just kept on running away from Karis and moving towards the table corner, which I needed to activate with Karis. So Karis was sitting on this height 3 building and tossed up some pillars to make sure things couldn't shoot at her, trying to position herself for the last turn to move into position and get that last table corner. I, again, did the best I could with my positioning, but it's really hard to do when you just have one model. So here you can see the final showdown with Nino and Karis. Nino actually did a lot of damage to her in that last turn you saw there, but she was able to weather it thanks to her armor and him not getting rapid fire triggers, which is pretty good for me. But she used both those AP to get table corner, so I needed turn 7 to be able to activate, and then I needed like a turn 8 to be able to do anything relevant after that. So you can see the split of Chris's models, just kind of moving them around, getting him into different table corners, getting himself established so he didn't have to worry about anything. He had a nice solid victory wrapped up, so he wanted to make sure he didn't mess it up. So you can see at the end of the board, Chris was able to grab control of 3 table corners, not able to get into one of the other ones because he only had 4 models, or 5 models, so he wasn't able to do that, and they weren't fast enough to get where he needed to go. He got 2 points on his kill protege, which is on the rail golem, very easily, and then 1 point on the second claim on the building. So he ended up getting a solid 6 points to my 1. So it was a really fun game. We really enjoyed it, and it was interesting to play with the expensive models as a constriction on the rules. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.